Hello everyone, Super Atom Bomb here, and today I am reviewing The Batman. In this video, I will be covering spoilers, so if you haven't seen the film, I highly suggest that you leave, watch the movie, then come back. Or you could just watch the video if you don't care. First, I'll start with the negatives. Robert Pattinson's portrayal as Bruce Wayne was, in my opinion, terrible. He honestly felt like a depressed, emo, quiet kid teen the whole time, which really isn't Bruce to me. In the Dark Knight trilogy, Bruce put on a facade as Bruce Wayne, acting like a playboy billionaire while Batman was his true self, which I always found fascinating. In this movie, however, he is the exact same in and out of the suit. I also felt that the motivation for Batman and Catwoman were poorly explained or shown to us. In Batman's case, we really don't get to see the connection he had with his parents. I get that it's common knowledge that Bruce lost his parents at a young age, but I feel that if we at least got a few flashbacks, it would make certain scenes like when he sees the mayor's son crying after his father's death hit that much harder. Catwoman's motivation was at least somewhat shown, but I really couldn't connect or root for her. Catwoman's whole deal is that her friend was killed by Falcone and she wants revenge, which sounds great on paper, but the execution is bad. Selina and her friend only share one scene together, and it is barely audible. Had we actually seen the relationship these two had, Catwoman's quest for vengeance would have been much more impactful. The fact that I had to read an article just to figure out what her relationship with her friend was like just goes to show just how bad it was. I also felt like Batman and Catwoman's relationship wasn't really interesting. They don't really have much chemistry, and their first kiss feels so out of place. They just randomly kiss after talking about the plot, and it felt random. The Riddler was a little strange. When his mask was on and he had his voice changer, he was terrifying. But once he had the mask off, he felt less intimidating. Honestly, just give this man a bowl cut and you got yourself a live-action Vector. The scene where he's in Arkham talking with who I can only assume to be the Joker after he lost while crying was really weird. This is the exact sound that he made while crying. No hate for the actor, it just seemed a bit off. Alfred seemed very underutilized and was really just there just to be there. Get blown up, then reveal some stuff about Bruce's parents, and that's it. I was really hoping that they would expand upon Batman's no-killing rule, since that is what has always made me love the character. The no-killing rule is there, but when shown feels out of place. One moment he'll be beating the ever-loving crap out of a random thug, and in the next he stops Catwoman from killing a bad guy because it's not the Jedi way. The fight choreography felt bland as well, but that's not too much of a problem since I prefer story over action. Now let's get into the positives. Catwoman's hot. The atmosphere and color grading in this movie are fantastic. It really feels like this is a truly corrupt city with crime everywhere. Robert Pattinson's portrayal as the Batman himself is phenomenal. Though his Bruce Wayne was really bad, his Batman is amazing. You really feel like this dude is the embodiment of fear, and I love it. The first scene in this movie was also very well done. The whole beginning scene is shot like a horror movie, showing the Riddler murder the mayor. For the first time, I was actually scared of the Riddler. Gone is his campy and goofy costume with an equally goofy personality. He's now an insane killer who at times was quite disturbing. I just wish that there were more scenes like the first one. Paul Dano's portrayal as the Riddler reminded me a lot of Heath Ledger's Joker, but not quite to that level, but still fantastic. I loved the more detective-style approach. Batman has always been called the world's greatest detective, and it makes me so glad that we finally get an actual detective movie for the Bat. I also loved the first segment of the film where the criminals are too afraid to even step into the shadows because of Batman. I just wish there was more of that. I really liked how this movie felt. This is a very grounded in reality movie, much like the Dark Knight trilogy, but even more so. When I heard it was a 3-hour movie, I was concerned that it would feel slow and boring, but there is always something going on or characters talking about important plot elements, so it never feels like it drags. The best way I can describe this movie is like it's like binge watching a good TV show. This movie does not pull punches in showing just how cruel the villains or even Batman himself can be, making this a much darker iteration of the characters. The soundtrack definitely felt like Batman. There's no other way to describe it. One last thing, Batman's character arc is amazing in this movie. I really liked how he starts off as this object of fear, and that's his only thing that really makes him the Batman in this. But in the end, he starts to realize that Gotham doesn't need that, it needs a hero. And I really, really liked that. Though this movie has its problems, I still highly recommend it to anyone who's a comic book fan or loves a good detective story. I give this movie a solid 7.5 out of 10. It wasn't perfect, but I certainly had a good time with it. That's all for today.